So I have been using the Samsung Fold 5 for 2 years now, and we are already at the Fold 7. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to give you a long-term review about the Samsung Fold 5 and my thoughts if this is still worth it in 2025 or if you should go with a newer phone. Alright, so kinda to summarize, this is the Samsung Fold 5, the folding phone. I have had this for 2 years, and first and foremost, let's talk about the durability. The durability is amazing. I actually just recently, I would say about a month ago, I had to exchange the screen protector in the middle screen or in the main screen after 2 years of use, folding and unfolding it, and it was bubbling up, and I was really afraid to kind of remove the screen protector by myself. But if you're really careful and the bubbling starts in the middle, and I actually waited a little bit before replacing it until the bubble was completely all the way in this crease. I actually was able to, I have a set from iFixit. No, it's not the complete set. No, it's not from iFixit. I have a tool, basically a very soft or a plastic kind of wedge that I was able to wedge in between, whilst really careful, taking care of that there is no pressure on the screen, but I was kind of like holding something here as a leverage point, and I was only kind of pressing against that piece of, I think it was plastic, to pull the OEM screen protector off the screen without kind of creating pressure points against the screen. So I was really careful, so take your time if you do that. And then I bought this screen protector from Amazon that had a little bit of a liquid to adhere to the screen. At first, I will link that screen protector in the description below. At first, there were a lot of I don't know how to call it, that moist or liquid residue underneath the screen, and I was really afraid that I was doing something wrong. But in actuality, this liquid needed some time to dissipate from underneath the screen, and now it is perfect. It basically looks like the OEM screen. Also, this screen protector that I bought from Amazon, it's a little bit thinner, so maybe it's not as protective, but I can totally feel that the mechanism of closing and opening is much easier. Now, to the hinge mechanism, I will hold this to my microphone. And I hope you can hear nothing. There is no dust or anything inside this hinge. I've read with other reviewers, especially with the Fold 4, that people were noticing this becoming a little bit of a noisy hinge and creaking after a few years. And I can confirm my Fold 5, and I feel like this has much more technology in it than the Fold 3 and the Fold 4 in terms of being much narrower, so there is less likeliness of stuff getting in here. So from my personal experience, this hinge works perfectly. And the Fold 5 compared to the Fold 7 is much narrower. So for me personally, I know that a lot of people were really complaining about this being very narrow and not as useful. However, I am from Asian descent. So I was born and raised in Germany. I feel German, but my parents are both from Indonesia. I am a very short person and my hands aren't that big. So this, to me, I was using a Samsung S23 Plus, and sometimes I have my wife's iPhone in my hand. I feel like those bigger or wider phones, while they are good to see everything when that is your only screen, this to me is so much more comfortable to hold in my hand and kind of type one-handedly. And I feel like there is no need to have a big screen in the front because you can always fold it up. And with the Samsung Fold 7, I do speculate that because the phone, the display is wider in folded up mode, there is not that much reason, or not that many reasons to fold it open. With this, I know I have the benefits of both worlds. I have a slimmer phone that is very easy for my small hands to kind of type on one-handedly, and also kind of use this without having to fear that this will slip out of my hand because I have a firm grip on it. And whenever I need a bigger screen to kind of answer emails, work on some spreadsheets, watch YouTube, I can just fold it up and have a wider screen, a wider screen. And by the way, the fingerprint scanner, to me, it works flawlessly. This works really well, even with a little bit of damp fingers. Maybe you can hear it. It is raining. Even then, it works, not perfectly, but it does work. And for me, continuing with the front screen, I also have a tempered glass screen protector. This phone has, I dropped this a couple of times and everything still works perfectly. Before I open it up, the cameras. I do understand that compared to an iPhone Pixel Pro device or the Samsung S series, these cameras are obviously not as great if you put them in direct comparison. However, who does that? Let's be real. You take you use this to kind of capture your dogs or whatever, your daily life, or kind of photograph something that you need to memorize. And from that perspective, I can tell you the images are amazing. They look great. They are maybe slightly, just slightly too sharp, but I compare to my Fuji XM5. I feel like if you just use the images for Instagram to memorize stuff, it's perfectly fine. I love this camera. I actually also shoot sometimes some B-roll for my YouTube videos with this. If I am in a pinch and I don't want to kind of use my DJI Pocket 3 that is filming me at the moment, for that it is great. You can also see here a pen. The Fold 5 and Fold 6 still have pen support on the folded up main screen. The Fold 7 doesn't have that anymore. So for me, it was always like, this is a perfect tool because I can journal on the Samsung Note app with the pen, and I can tell you it works perfectly. And I was always kind of telling myself, oh, I need this feature, so whenever this breaks down, I'm not going to upgrade to the Fold 7 because it doesn't have pen support. I will get to an upgrade path in just a second. But truth to be told, since daily vlogging on this channel, I haven't journaled on my written notepad anymore. This pen tool is a great feature if you want to write down, but also if you kind of work on spreadsheets, it's actually easier to use the pen. But I have to admit, lately I haven't used the pen that much anymore. The screen, many of you will probably ask, what about the crease? And many people do ask me. Maybe you can see here already when I film this. You can only see the crease if you kind of move it around. But in actuality, when you are watching YouTube or working on this, you actually do not notice the crease. Only if you really intently are searching for it. And let's be real, when you're working, when you're watching YouTube videos, you don't look for it. And you actually don't notice it. Just like your nose, it is in your peripheral view. If you look for your nose, you can see your nose in your peripheral view. But let's be real, you don't look at your nose all of the time, and then you kind of forget that it is in your peripheral view. So this screen is amazing to watch YouTube, to kind of work, and I actually utilize this a lot for answering emails. It's so much easier to look at your emails like this, type away like this, but also sometimes I need to look at my Evernote whilst typing on an email. Having the split screen mode is amazing. It works really, really well. And also looking at my calendar whilst answering an email, it works really good. Samsung's implementation of split screens and also floating windows. So what I like to do sometimes is have my email here, my calendar on the other side, and then have a floating YouTube window somewhere around here. Multitasking on this is amazing. You also have DeX Mode, but truth to be told, I only used it a couple of times. It is really good to have, for example, when you are traveling and you are in your hotel room and you want to watch Netflix on a bigger screen, then you can actually use DeX Mode, connect this to your TV and just start up Netflix in DeX Mode. Works amazing. Some people will argue, hey, you don't need DeX Mode, I have my computer, it's not as powerful. And to some degree, I agree. But as I said, for traveling, this is an amazing feature that should not be overlooked. Being able to hook up your phone easily without any fuss and then have a mouse or a wireless keyboard on your bed, hook this up. Let's be real, most TVs in hotel rooms are a little bit fiddly with the connection. So having your phone hooked up in like a very tight space, then sit on the couch or on the hotel's bed using a wireless keyboard to utilize your phone is amazing and makes watching Netflix, Disney Plus and stuff like that really easy. I can highly recommend the DeX Mode for that. But obviously you can also work on this and utilize this. If you only use like word processing, spreadsheets and emails, then DeX Mode in the office actually is a valid solution. Not sure if I personally would use that because I do a lot of editing, but for that it is great. So let's talk about would I still recommend this for 2025? And I would say hell yes, because let's be real, the Samsung Fold 7 is an expensive phone. And many people would argue, I don't want to spend that much on the phone. But the argument for me personally with the Fold series in general, you pay for a phone, for a tablet, and for something that is more likely to be utilized for work. So it is an investment. That alone, to me, is the argument to buy an expensive folding phone. Now, would I recommend to get the Fold 7? I would say no. I would argue I'm a huge fan of refurbished items. My MacBook Pro M3 Pro is a refurbished MacBook. And I would actually go and say, if this breaks down in the next few months, potentially, I don't know, I think this will still hold up, I will go with the Fold 6 refurbished and not buy the Fold 7. And I would always recommend to go with the previous generation because many of these brands now support 7 years of software support. And with that in mind, I would say go with the previous generation because let's be real, many people switch their phones after 2 years. So having support for 7 more years will help you to just get the previous generation, save a lot of money and yeah, get a new phone. But this is not only for the Fold series. I also am actually looking for a new phone for my mom and I will probably buy her the S23 Plus in as a refurbished version because then she still has plenty of years of security updates. So with that in mind, I would say if you want to get a Fold series, buy the Fold 6. Maybe also the Fold 5 if you can get a good deal. I can highly recommend this. I love this phone and yeah, think about this. If you have smaller hands, get the Fold 5 or 6, because personally I think the smaller form factor is better in my hands ergonomically and gives me more incentive to actually open this up and use the bigger screen. With the Fold 7, I feel like there is more likeliness that you are, in air quotes, a little bit lazy because the front screen is big enough and then you don't utilize the inner screen, and then the question is, do you really need a folding phone? So for me, I would say get the Fold 6 or Fold 5. Amazing phone, highly recommend. Alright, so that was my long-term review of the Samsung Fold 5. What are your opinions about folding phones? Are you considering getting one? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to see some other reviews from maybe my main channel, or I will put a different tech video on this channel in this video up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. Don't forget to hype and like the video, and maybe help me to get to 2,000 subscribers by clicking the button up here. I see you next video. Thank you very much.